Alright, going to check out this Walther WMP 22 Magnum pistol today. It's on loan today by John at Boomstick Revenge. And he's letting us film on the range today. Appreciate that. Go check him out. So as I said, this is 22 WMR, 22 Magnum. This comes with two 15-round magazines. This thing is an absolute tank. If you couldn't tell, I mean, it's pretty much a full-size pistol, but it's in 22 Magnum. There's your sight picture there. You got a blacked out rear notch, and then you got that front orange, which is just a fiber optic, not a night sight. Big old rail on the front. I wish this would focus. Come on. Nice aggressive slide serrations on the front and the back. That is not ported. That's just for weight reduction of the slide there. Got trigger safety, ambidextrous mag release, looks like ambi slide lock. Let's see, am I missing anything else? Takedown lever. Loving this grip. This is super aggressive, really digs into the hands well. Not that 22 mag is going to have a lot of recoil, but I still like it nonetheless. And I got a bunch of different ammo to put through it here. I'll try to keep you updated when I'm running, but I'm going to run a bunch of different stuff, see what works today. You know, if we have any cycling issues or what have you, because a lot of semi-automatics, especially the PMR 30, I reviewed that before, in 22 mag, they can have cycling issues. So as you can see there, I got a big array of stuff to test, which, by the way, I also have some 22 Magnum gel tests, not only from pistols but rifle as well. So if you want to check any of those out, including testing these ones that are actually made for handgun, I have these two coming up. I have not tested them yet, but even when I do the ones that are made for handguns, I test them out of the rifle as well, just to see what they do out of a long barrel. So check out the 22/rimfire playlist on the channel for anything rimfire, including those gel tests. So we'll start out here 10-12 yards. It's 10 yards when I'm on this side of the picnic table, 12 yards on the other. Start on my shoot and see target there, see where she's impacting so we know where we need to hold. Which brings me to, yep. So you can drift this left or right for windage, but it is not elevation adjustable. And it looks like it comes optic ready there too, so you can put a red dot on it if you want. Then we'll move out. We got a half scale silhouette there at 25 yards. And I gotta go get my gong. I have it out there at 100 yards for the previous video I did. So I'm going to set that guy up there at 50. So smack that around at 50 yards. And then we got a half scale silhouette there at 75, which that is equivalent to what it would look like if you were shooting a full size or man sized at 150 yards out there at 75. So let's see if we can hit that as well. And if this thing does well enough, I might run the gong back out to 100 yards there, see if we can get 100-yard hits, but not really expecting that level of accuracy from a semi-auto 22 mag, but we'll see. All right, I'll start with the CCI Maxi Mags first. Hornady VMAX 30 grain. All right, so obviously she will not cycle those lighter VMAX bullets, but we'll try some of those lightweight rounds that are specifically made for handguns, see if it'll cycle those. So there's the Maxi Mag, just, you know, offhand first shots, and there's those CCI I had to hand cycle because it would not, basically the slide's not kicking back far enough with those to chamber the next round. So as you can see, we are considerably off to the left. I'm going to see if I can tap that sight over real quick. Alright, so this rear sight is plastic, but I think that's part of the reason why it moves so easily. I was able to tap it over super easy. It might be a little too far. I'm going to check here. So we might be off to the right now, but I'm going to check real quick. But yeah, super easy to move that sight with it being plastic. Good thing, because otherwise you would tear it up trying to get it, you know, to move left and right. Just use my little punch there. Didn't even need a sight pusher. So I don't know if that's something that's going to move on its own over time as you shoot it. So you just keep an eye on it. You may have to put a little drop or two of blue Loctite on there once you get it set where you want it, so it doesn't move. But it'll work for now regardless for the review video. So while I'm working on getting the windage correct, I'll try out some of these other. So try some of the silver tip here, do 5 of those, and then this punch here. And these are heavier. I think I mistakenly said earlier, I think there's some lighter handgun self-defense rounds, but no, they're all at least 40. Even the what did I have, whichever one the Hornady makes with the FTX, they're 45 grain as well. So these 40 here, 45. Try 5 of these and try 5 of this while I work on getting this zeroed. All right, these are the Winchester silver tips. I'm gonna go for that bottom dot. Well, that looks pretty well zeroed now. Aiming at the bottom dot there, and interestingly, the point of impact a little bit higher on those. So now we'll try these Federal Punch on the top dot. All right, she's good to go. I got lucky and got it right on the first tap. All right, these are the 50 grain Federals. Hard to hear these at 50 because the muzzle report is so loud on this 22 mag, but these are all hits. I like this thing. Well, exceptional shooter, 50 yards, no problem, freehand, semi-rapid fire. So I guess we'll try 75 now, standing. I'll probably miss a few and then I'll come back to the bag. So I was just on my gong there. Center of your screen, 50 yards, and above it is that orange half-scale silhouette at 75 yards, which again, with it being a half-scale, that's what it would appear if it was a full-size at 150 yards. But regardless, I'm shooting 75 yards back to that guy now, see if we can hit that. Of course, I missed the last one, which I think I pulled it high on accident. I pulled that last shot, but man, I'm having no problem at all down there at 75 yards either freehand. Alright, so I really have no doubt in my mind that even on iron sights, I could get pretty consistent hits out there at 100 yards. Of course, that I would use a bag for. But considering I'm freehanded 75, no problem. This will definitely do 100 yards. I mean, these groups down here, I mean, they're a little crappy, but it's just because I was winging them and it was my first shots. But like I said, hitting that half scale silhouette 75 yards standing, no problem. Certainly wouldn't be a problem at 100 yards off a bag. And then this thing with a dot on it, man, it would be almost cheating at 100 yards. I think you probably go out further than that. Again, not that this thing is, you know, meant for shooting long range, but it's nice to know that you can. And God, it was just easy. This thing has a real great trigger, which I'm show you in a second, so that helps as well. But I really like the sights on this as well. I don't know why up here at the bench they seemed, you know, kind of standard sized, but out here shooting at the targets with it, I'm like, wow, actually it's not covering up as much as the target as I thought it would. Get situated here, kind of try to show you guys what I'm seeing. It always looks a little different on camera than in person. Yeah, it's not gonna, yeah, I can't really capture it on camera because it either wants to focus on the sights or focus on the target. But I mean, that half scale silhouette out there, 75 yards. The front sight there was probably about the same size as that half scale silhouette, which, as you can see there when I zoom in, that's a 16-inch gong there in front of it. So it's much narrower than that. So the sights help, but this trigger too. Let me get an empty brass in here real quick and I'll show you. All right, so I got an empty shell in here, and before I forget, I did notice one thing. Again, this is a full-size pistol and I have small hands, so I did notice sometimes, see, that's all the farther my finger goes, and it's doing it to me right, well, it was. Sometimes I don't get it wrapped around enough to where when I start to pull, to where it'll pull this trigger safety first, so my trigger's locked and I just gotta like stick my finger through a little more to depress that trigger safety, and then it goes. But that's because I have small hands. So if you got small hands like me, or if you're, you know, female, small hands, that trigger thing, it's catching me right there. See, I'm pulling on it and it's not. As soon as I flip over though, my position changes. But yeah, like the trigger's not going half the time because I don't got my finger through there enough, and it's just simply because this is a full-size pistol and I got little hands. Now, I don't have that issue with any other full-size pistols, so this thing is just giant and I'm not quite getting my finger through there far enough. So, I mean, I only noticed it a few times, and as you guys saw out there, you know, even rapid firing, I didn't catch it or anything like that. So once I'm in the go position, there you just heard it click. I caught it there for a second again. It just kind of depends. I'm like half a millimeter away from getting my finger in just far enough sometimes. So I did notice that if you have smaller hands, you're probably going to notice that you're not quite depressing the trigger safety enough, and it might hang you up a few times like it does for me. But other than that, the trigger itself, absolutely loving the trigger. So here's your take up, okay, and it kind of stops there, but it's almost like a double stage. It's got just light pressure, and you see how it goes there, but I can feel kind of like a wall right there. But then if I pull just a little more, it actually comes back further to there. All right, and now apply pressure and pull through slowly. Like no creep whatsoever. Nice, clean, crisp break as long as you get it to that second stage. And then on the reset, and I'm actually really impressed that it ejected that brass, because that was an old one up here that was kind of like corroded, and it was stiff pushing it into the chamber. To stick that empty one in there so you could not dry fire this, and it just chucked it right out. So that's also great. It's got a real good strong extractor on there. And then on the reset, oh, I'm stupid. Hang on. All right, now we get the reset right there. So I did notice that while shooting, the reset was a little far out. Sometimes I was wondering if I let it out far enough for it to reset, because I didn't really feel it. But then sure enough, I go and pull the trigger and she'd go off. So I wish the reset was a little shorter, but it didn't cause me any hang-ups, even rapid fire. So even though it's a little longer than I would like, it's a non-issue, but the brake on that thing is just amazing. And I do believe that's a hammer fire right there, so probably has something to do with it, but I don't know, it's almost like a hybrid. I mean, you see the hammer, I believe that's the hammer, and I watched it as I fired. It hits the firing pin, but it's weird that it comes back with the trigger like that, like a striker. So I don't know, maybe some sort of hybrid system. I didn't do my research before I shot this today, but you know, the brake, once you get it staged properly, super clean, crisp brake. Actually, let me get that shell back in here. The weight's probably like, I mean, it's like 4.5, 5 pounds probably, but let me try it again real quick. Yeah, I'll say like 4.5 pounds, so pretty decently light trigger, at least compared to, you know, like something like a Glock or whatever with a 5-6 pound trigger. But yeah, I'm in love. I mean, usually I shoot more than that, but like it's already told me everything I need to know. It just went straight out there, 50, 75 yards, no problem. Like I said, love the trigger, love the sights, comfy grip. You know, I wouldn't say it's too big for my hands, but like I said, I did have that slight issue with the trigger safety, but it's a non-issue while firing. And as long as you run 40 grain or heavier, which is commonplace for a semi-automatic pistol in 22 WMR 22 Magnum, it's ran 100% reliable for us. Just don't expect it to shoot no 30-35 grain stuff, and you'll be good. So far more reliable for me than the one PMR 30 I had. I get hate on that all the time. People telling me how their PMR is 30 and it'll eat anything, or I said 30. PMR is perfect, flawless, and will eat absolutely anything, including the 30 grain rounds, and that's fine. I know they're not lying. But a ton of the PMR 30s are very problematic, and the one I had was problematic. And I'm not having any issues with this guy. Shoots amazing, feels great. I love it. Definitely got to get one of these. Like I said, this is a loaner from John, so. But yeah, that'll do it. Short and sweet today because I already know I love it. It's a fantastic pistol in my opinion. If you guys want to get any of the products you see me use, like my target stand there, paper targets I use, steel targets, shooting bag, and more, links in the description for all of that. As I said, guys, check out the 22/rimfire playlist on the channel for everything rimfire. You know, gun reviews, long range shooting, gel tests, and more. Appreciate you stopping by and checking this one out today, and I hope to catch you on the next one.